Out of trees. The National Weather Service forecast, falling iguanas possible overnight because of cold temperatures. They say that the cold-blooded creatures can become immobile when the temperature falls into the 40s, but not to worry, they're not dead. This is your WOCA Ocala Quick Minute News.
A wind chill advisory in effect for this morning. Morning wind chill values into the mid-20s. Wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Sunshine will mix with some clouds throughout the day with a high 60 to 63. Becoming cloudy tonight, low 51 to 58. For tomorrow, it will be cloudy throughout the day, high 73 to 76. Overcast in the evening, then becoming partly cloudy later at night with a low 56 to 60. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Kevin Snyder.
You just have to say it's a happy day. The old ticker hasn't been clicking and your kicker hasn't been kicking, but the hospital you can now leave. To rehab you can now cleave. The folks at Palm Garden you got to meet. You can tell their services cannot be beat. Working with nursing and therapy all day, you're gonna get better the Palm Garden way. Find out what the Palm Garden way means to you by taking a tour. We're located on the corner of Southwest 27th Avenue and 34th Street.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Veteran.
Good morning out there. WOCA Ocala, AM Ocala Live.
That's us.
96.3, 1370 AM The Source. Your host, Adam Mikulin, on this Wednesday.
I'm just co-horting here today.
Co-horting.
For a little bit.
Joe.
For about the week after your training wheels are coming off.
Yeah.
Then you're going to solo.
Solo so long.
I hope not. Got a lot of tidbits today, a lot of news.
Tidbits. I like that.
Yeah, well, these are the news bits, tidbits, whatever you want.
News bits.
Yeah. It's different than what was done before, but we're moving along, and we're going to comment about things and talk about things and give you the news still, but it's just in a different way. That's all.
I got one here, partner.
Go ahead.
Local to Ocala. Crystal Burgers.
Now, Crystal Burgers, weren't they just coming to Ocala, right?
They're pulling out of Ocala. You ever been to Crystal Burger?
There's no Crystal. Oh, is there Crystal Burger?
Over by the plaza there near Kane's Furniture.
Yeah, 200, yes.
Bankruptcy comes weeks after the hamburger chain shuttered the last Ocala location on the heels of closing the last Crystal in Ocala. The burger chain filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection this week. Yeah. The chain, known for its little square burgers, closed 44 locations last year to try to shore up its finances. That's tough.
Yeah, well, we're getting...
On December 15th alone, the chain shuttered 13 locations, including the Ocala location there at 2420 Southwest State Road and 200. Yeah. Crystal was based in Dunwoody, Georgia, and hopes to restructure under the filing and emerge a stronger company, they say.
See, they're closing, but yet Castle Burgers are coming.
Really?
They're coming in, I think, Orlando.
Is that right?
Yeah.
White Castle?
White Castle is coming in Orlando.
Do you like those little burger sliders? Any chain?
Well, I'll tell you what. I like them if the price is right. You know, $1.59 for a little thing. No, it's not worth it. It should be 99 cents or less for those, because you're getting a quarter of a real burger. They taste great, but there's like two, and they're gone. So it should be priced to the size, not priced. It's convenient, and we're going to put a little box. It's $1.59. No, it's too much.
And you know what I think at the end of the day, maybe that's the thing, because like
they're overpriced. And exactly.
Yeah, you can get a bigger burger somewhere else.
Yeah. We had Whataburger right down there.
Yeah, what happened to it?
Exactly. What happened to it? It gone.
I bet you they do better now. I bet you if Whataburger came in now, they'd do better.
Are they still in business?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's one of the first things I do when I get to Pensacola. I get a Whataburger.
Whataburger?
Uh-huh.
Where?
Patty melt.
Oh, Pensacola.
That's
a little further away from here than
a little bit.
No,
still in Florida.
No, I had one. I cannot tell you where it is. One of my many road trips I went on. we just stopped off, and it was like in a strip mall, and it said Whataburger. I said, And I went and tried it. It was, It was good.
It's big considering what you would have
the
at a
price is
Crystal or
right.
White Castle. Yeah, it's not bad.
You know, there are some burgers out there that are good, but they're overpriced. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, once you get in the $7 mark for a hamburger, that sucker better weigh net.
It better wear some lettuce, tomato, and onion.
Well, yeah, and it's better if you say I'm going to get a half pound of meat. I don't want a half pound pre-cooked. I want a half pound done.
Yeah.
You know, I always started with a half pound. Yeah, but you're not ending with a half pound, you know.
It's what a burger, basically what a burger. My grandfather always called it Waterburger.
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 Whatever.
That's-
But yeah,
that's
that's
the Northern
right.
Polish
That's
in
the
'em.
thing. It's marketing. Everything's marketing. We're going to give you a quarter pounder. That's 4 ounces. Pay attention. That's 4 ounces of meat. Oh, you got a half pound. It's only 8 ounces of meat. Pay attention. Don't get by the the hype there. It's a quarter pounder. And you want quarter pounder with cheese. Oh boy, so it's, let's see, quarter pound, it starts at 4 ounces, then it's cooked, so you got about 2 ounces of meat there. Do you ever take a burger that says a quarter pound and take it apart and look at it? That's a good.
And then when you cook it, it
Yeah,
shrinks.
well, you look it up. When you can pick a burger up and look through it, it's too damn thin. I'm sorry. It's true, though.
That reminds me of the Seinfeld episode where Kramer gets the meat slicer.
Oh, you're
And he's
kidding.
like, this thing can slice meat so thin you can't even see it. She goes, then how do you know it's there? He goes, you just blew my mind.
Yeah, blew my mind. He was little.
he slices the meat, and she realizes that there's a cat that was her neighbor that left for like a trip, and her neighbor's cat is meowing crazy because I guess it has no food. So he takes the meat slicer and they slice the food and slide it under the door to feed the cat.
That's a good idea, though. Whoever wrote that up, that's a good idea. Another one of my beefs is it's $39.99. No, it's $40.
Yeah.
It's $39.99. Here's a penny. Now it's $40.
Why do we do that?
Mental. It's all mental.
But I think we're the only country that does that, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
I think so.
I might be mistaken.
Well, there's a lot of places.
Because they throw the tax in it automatically and give you a rounded price. So like if we were to go to Sweden and we said, we want to buy this shirt, the shirt's $15.
Period.
But it's like a $98 shirt with the tax thrown in and everything calculated
$9.98,
and something
good.
$9.63 and then calculated with the percentage.
I was surprised. I went to Disney and looking for something. Just they had a character they were selling, So I asked the cast member how much it was,
Yeah.
and she says it's $16.74 or something like that. And I'm going, huh? She says, oh yeah, because we have people from around the world come in, we have to have one flat tax. Everything's included. We confuse it if we put the tax on after everything, because if they say it's $15, that person from France or will give you $15, and then the price comes as $15.74. What the heck? What? No, you said $15.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So
that is very interesting.
So it's everything's already whatever it says. Boom, that's the price.
And do you think that the only reason we do hold that we still do that is specifically because that's a way to make you think that you're getting a better deal?
No,
when you see $14.99 but it's
Yeah.
$15, you're like, oh, 14. It's
Well, yeah, exactly, because you think it's a bigger price.
all a
Yeah.
conspiracy.
But the other reason is with the taxes. The thing is, if it's a national brand, you can't say you can say it's a 99-cent burger, then it's a plus tax.
Plus tax.
Because every state has a different tax structure.
Yeah.
So here it could be 7%, 3%,
You might be right. In Georgia, that burger from Crystal is only $1.05 after tax, but in Florida, it's $1.10. And we're like, you know what? To hell with that small burger. What do you got, Joe?
I got a thief that was suspected. A thief suspect charged with providing a phony name to the deputy. Mr. Richards.
Read that again.
A thief. A thief suspect. Woo, a thief suspect.
Yes, suspect.
Suspect. Charged with providing a phony name to the deputy, Mr. Richards, a thief suspect from North Carolina who was injured while trying to evade law enforcement, is accused of providing a phony name to law enforcement. Mr. Richards, 32, of Lexington, North Carolina, was charged recently with aggravated fleeing with injury and damage. Petty thief items valued between $100 and $300, giving a false ID to law enforcement, and driving with a suspended license. Richards was taken to Marion County Jail from Ocala Regional Hospital as a John Doe on the eluding and theft charges while at the hospital. He provided his name, Hayes, to a Marion County Sheriff's deputy multiple times. A fingerprint scan at the jail revealed his real name. So a computer check revealed multiple active suspensions of Richard's driver's license, but no convictions of driving with a suspended license. He's being held in Marion County Jail on $31,500 bond and will appear in court on February 18th.
Plus tax.
Plus tax.
You know what's interesting about that? Have you ever used a fake name, like in a situation that was dire?
No.
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 Makes me think.
I'm proud of who I am.
Makes me think of Ron White. Remember that comic?
No.
Ron Tater Salad. He used an alias, and then he got, I think, drunk in public, as he called it later on. But so they pulled the file on him, and he looks at it, and he's like, "Are you Ron Tater Salad?" Because that's what he uses as a fake name. That's what made me think of that. A fake name.
Well,
that's ballsy.
How many actresses and actors is not their real name?
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Yeah.
A specialized strike team arrested 7 people earlier this week during raids targeting suspected drug traffickers. And 7 were nabbed in the surprise raids targeting all the trafficking operations. Members of the Unified Drug Enforcement Strike Team stand outside a Marion County home that was raided last week. A suspect is taken into custody Wednesday after members of the team and SWAT raided multiple locations throughout Marion County. So they were going through all different locations. And there was a lot. They have all the listing and everything. And let's see what they found there. They seized a large collection of illegal drugs, firearms, a vehicle, and more than $31,000 in cash. I wonder what their bond is going to be. But they found $31,000 in cash. And it's amazing. It is, and of course, it goes on and on what they are, and some are $227,500 bond, $4,000 bond, $100,000 bond, $59,000 bond, $3,000 bond, depending on what the charges are. $5,000, $2,500, $31,000, and $16 seizures they got there. So we're going to come back right after this break. Marijuana was 369 grams. 27.5 grains of cocaine, heroin 74.8 grams, meth 939 grams, prescription pills 88, and so forth and so on. And they got a vehicle.
Woo. We're gonna let that sink in. Yes. All those numbers. We're gonna take a little break. We'll be right back. WOCA Ocala.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
WOCA Quick Minute News. After finishing the first day early this morning, the Senate impeachment trial will resume this afternoon. Yesterday, Democrats, including Orlando Congresswoman Val Demings, made their case that the Senate should convict and remove President Trump for his dealings with Ukraine.
The first article further charges that the president did so with corrupt motives and that his use of power for personal gain harmed the national security of the United States.
Republicans blocked 11 Democratic resolutions dealing primarily with the subpoenas for witnesses and documents. With all eyes on the president's impeachment trial, his party is looking into the future.
The Republican National Committee kicks off its winter meeting this afternoon at Trump National Doral in Miami. Florida's GOP National Committeeman Peter Feynman doesn't expect to hear anything about what he calls the impeachment charade.
We are all about planning for the convention and planning to get as many new voters registered.
He says unlike in 2016 when the party was divided,
everybody has one goal and one goal in mind, and that's to re-elect this great president.
President Trump is set to speak at the event tomorrow. Eric Rodriguez, Miami.
Lucky's Market is closing all but one of its Florida stores next month. The only Lucky's that will remain open after February 12th is the West Melbourne location. It was too cold yesterday, so SpaceX is now planning its next rocket launch from Cape Canaveral, Florida, to happen Friday morning. There's an 80% chance of favorable weather. Residents in Miami are being told to watch out for reptiles dropping out of trees. The National Weather Service forecast, falling iguanas possible overnight because of cold temperatures. They say that the cold-blooded creatures can become immobile when the temperature falls into the 40s. But not to worry, they're not dead. This is your WOCA Ocala Quick Minute News.
A wind chill advisory in effect for this morning. Morning wind chill values into the mid-20s. Wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Sunshine will mix with some clouds throughout the day with a high 60 to 63. Becoming cloudy tonight, low 51 to 58. For tomorrow, it will be cloudy throughout the day, high 73 to 76. Overcast in the evening, then becoming partly cloudy later at night with a low 56 to 60. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Kevin Snyder.
Enter a world of battling knights, dancing gypsies, and mystifying magicians during the 34th annual Hogtown Medieval Fair, January 18th and 19th, 26th and 27th, and January 31st through February 2nd. Cheer on royal knights as they joust for their lady's honor. Then wander through the marketplace where hundreds of artisans sell their medieval wares. Information at hogtownfair.com. Come one, come all to the Hogtown Medieval Fair, funded in part by Visit Gainesville, Alachua County.
And we're back. You're listening to AM Ocala Live. Your host, Adam Mickulin, here on this fine, chilly Wednesday.
Let's see if the temp has risen. Let's see what my phone says. 36 degrees. Wow, boiler out there right now. 36.
You got 36. Mine says here 33. 33.
It regenerated. 34.
Yeah, 34.
34. Wow.
With that being said, we're looking at a high of mid to upper 50s-ish, if it can get that high with a little bit of wind. Into tomorrow, we've got basically the same, looking pretty good, but it's going to warm up then through late day tomorrow, up in the 70s, and then lows of 40s, and then looking at a possibility of chance of rain through the weekend.
Of course, motorcycle weather. When I can go on my motorcycle, it's going to rain. Of course, that's what's going to happen.
We're back. We got Joe in the studio here. We're doing just a little bit of news bits. Talked a little bit so far. I've got one here for you, Joe. Laura Dern to play bartender in Quibi's Just One Drink. The Emmy-winning and Oscar-nominated actress Laura Dern will play a bartender with a sympathetic ear in Just One Drink. The series on the upcoming Quibi streaming service will consist of one act, vignettes between Dern's bartender character and the customer she serves, all of whom are in various states of emotional despair. Interesting.
Otherwise known as intoxicated? Maybe they'll tell you a story. Oh, my goodness. Did you know Australia had a possum walk into a woman's office?
Is this a setup?
No,
is there a punchline?
Sorry, no, this is true story.
Australian woman. So an Australian woman's possum, right, walks into a woman's office.
Yeah, I walked in and he says, I killed an elephant in my pajamas. How he got in my pajamas, I'll never know. Anyway, an Australian woman, she says, quote unquote, I walked into my office and thought that someone must have broken in because it looked trashed. Well, it turned out the culprit was a little Australian possum, found hiding behind the woman's computer and looking a little bit lost. The woman gave him some water and asked for help from a wildlife rescue group. The rescue team brought in a little possum box and fresh fruit and waited for him to decide to go into the box so he could be relocated.
Oh. We were talking a little bit earlier about Crystal Burgers going by the wayside here out of Ocala.
Yeah.
I got a little segue from there to another burger story for you.
Go ahead.
Wacky but true. Man hides in a bush, steals his ex's Burger King.
Say what?
A woman in Austin, Texas called police after her boyfriend stole her bag of Burger King in a sneak attack. As the victim approached her apartment, the ex was hiding in the bushes, jumped out, grabbed her food, and took off. Police arrested Irvin Johnson for theft, and he admitted he was upset another man was buying Burger King for his ex-girlfriend.
First of all,
I knew you was cheating. That's my Whopper.
I smell it on your breath. You got Whopper breath.
I don't care if it's plant-based or beef.
You got Whopper breath. Still smells like a Whopper.
Oh
my
goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
You cheap son of a gun.
That's
why you didn't. That's
that
why
keeps things light.
You didn't buy her Whopper.
Yeah, that keeps things light. When you think about it, you're like, when I hear a story like that,
Yeah.
I think, what intern dug so deep to find something just a little light,
It's got to be.
but still have some like opinion-based topic.
You mean like we found it?
Yeah, yeah,
You're welcome.
yeah, yeah. This is an email. It's easy, but somebody had to search that.
It's got to go down the line, and I found it, right? So I'll take credit.
They didn't say which Burger King.
No, it didn't say where either.
They didn't exactly say
Austin, Texas.
Well, which one in Austin? But yeah, in Austin,
sure,
Texas. Yeah.
But it's got to be on the what do you call it, the blotter or whatever, the police blotter.
Yeah.
Every morning. They
All
have
officers,
TV
we got a
shows.
3819, a Whopper stolen from another man.
TMZ does it live on the air all the time,
Yeah.
right? What happened? They've got to find these celebrities, and they got to dig, and find who's coming off. How many airlines do the celebrities say, John Doe flying today? Because they don't want to see who's really coming in, but there they are with their cameras waiting for them. Paparazzi. Oh, here's your best and worst Super Bowls. Go ahead, you take that one.
Yeah, a little bit of we got the Super Bowl coming up, and a little shout out to Orlando. We got the Pro Bowl this weekend. It's local, close. Which is actually incredible because it used to be in Hawaii, and I never understood the logistics. I know why they went to Hawaii. There was a lot there.
It's warmer.
Yeah, but think about the logistics of putting on a huge football event, flying all these players, putting them up in hotels and everything out in Hawaii. Like the logistics were like a nightmare. I can imagine.
It's called money.
Yeah, and I think somebody saved some money by saying, hey, let's do it somewhere warm, but stateside.
Well, stateside, yeah. Okay.
State in the greater 48.
Somebody got ticked that somebody said, we're not doing it anymore because you don't want to play ball with us.
Yeah, well, they've been trying. They've been coming around the last couple of years trying to make it interesting, which, give or take. But it is here in Orlando, which is great.
Orlando's close.
Yeah, Camping World
20
Stadium.
minutes from here,
Yep, on I think it's Saturday or Sunday. But with that being said, best and worst Super Bowls, US Today has picked what it believes are the best and worst Super Bowls and has ranked every other game as well. At the top, Super Bowl 51, which included the New England Patriots comeback from a 25-point deficit to beat the Atlanta Falcons. The Patriots comeback is the largest in Super Bowl history and was the first to be decided in overtime. And I remember that one specifically because my girl and I had a bet.
And you lost.
No, I won.
Oh, you lost, though.
I won on paper.
That's all you did. And then you found the first doghouse made for Adam.
I won, and the couch is wonderfully comfortable.
It was.
That's that old cliche stuff. That's good, though.
Was this news attack? You can get Super Bowl tickets. They're $16 each, and you and a guest will sit on the opposite ends of my couch. I'll provide the bean dip and bring you the chips and beer.
You think that's a little steep, $16?
What, the beer?
Yeah. Actually, that's not too bad then.
Go with the birthdays, Adam.
Yeah, birthdays. We missed one yesterday that I'm going to talk about a little bit later here after the top of the hour. But 90 years old yesterday, Mr. Buzz Aldrin, one of the guys I looked up to with aviation and stuff. So I'm gonna spend some time talking about him in the next hour and stuff. I pulled up a very sweet article about a little bit of the background of him, and I think deservedly so.
I think he was on the air with us once.
Is that right? Deservedly so.
See,
There's a
fancy,
lot.
yeah.
There's a lot that man accomplished, and being 90 years old, I think sometimes when you do so much, but one thing stands out. Hey, boom, walk the moon, Apollo 11, done. But he did so much before that.
And after.
Sure. And one of my favorite things after, he punched a guy out for claiming that he's like following around Buzz Aldrin with a video camera. He's coming out of a hotel, and he says to him, he's like, "You're a liar. You guys never landed on the moon. It was all staged. Can you tell my camera that tell the American people that you're a liar?" And Buzz Aldrin punched his lights out.
Good.
He walked away a little bit. It's not like immediately, but it was interesting. But his birthday was yesterday. Some other notable birthdays for today. Steve Perry from Journey, 71 years old. And this is a little shout out to my girl's stepdad there, who's a huge Steve Perry fan.
Oh, okay.
And he sings. This is the bail bondsman I was telling you about.
Yes.
He sings faithfully karaoke.
Karaoke man?
Yeah, about as good as Steve Perry. It's phenomenal.
I don't know him. I
it's
like
phenomenal.
Karaoke man.
But
we need a good, clean karaoke place to sing.
We do.
A clean
karaoke. Hey, when you were telling me about that one story with you and Larry and Robin.
Marines.
But yeah, you and Dan, you guys love to sing, don't you?
I love to sing. I don't know about Dan anymore, but I can only speak for myself.
Celebrity chef Guy Fieri is 52. Do you ever watch Triple D's?
Of course.
Diners,
he has a
Ditches, and
restaurant,
Dash.
in the Villages.
Yeah.
He
That
does.
guy's awesome. That's one of the things as being a pilot. You can fly to these unique towns that are really close, and you realize that
Is it close? Well, you can walk. You can drive.
you don't even need to Yelp this stuff. You can go right into basically Google what was visited by Guy Fieri, Diners, Ditches, and Dives, and get in there and eat them up.
Eat them up.
Eat them up.
Boy, you talk about an old rascal movie. Eat them up.
Eat 'em up.
Eat them up.
Diane Lane.
No idea what I'm talking about.
Diane Lane, actress, is 55. Remember Diane Lane? She's only 55?
Yeah.
I thought she was older than that.
Well, it depends on what character. Oh, we're at the top of the hour.
We are.
Let's roll.
You're listening to WOCA Ocala, top of the hour, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM.
Former National Security Advisor John Bolton. New York Democrat Jerry Nadler says about that.
The president and some members of this body are afraid to hear from Ambassador Bolton because they know he knows too much.
President Trump speaking to reporters in Davos, Switzerland, wrapping up the World Economic Forum.
Gerald Nadler, I've known him a long time. He's a sleazebag. Everybody knows that.
He says he'd like to attend the trial in the front row, but says his attorneys might have a problem with that. Opening statements in the Harvey Weinstein rape and sexual assault trial are today in New York City. The former movie mogul says what happened with those two women was consensual. He's also charged in other cases in Los Angeles. The New York City trial is expected to last about 6 weeks. America's listening to Fox News.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out. No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable. But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms. Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
WOCA Quick Minute News. After finishing the first day early this morning, the Senate impeachment trial will resume this afternoon. Yesterday, Democrats, including Orlando Congresswoman Val Demings, made their case that the Senate should convict and remove President Trump for his dealings with Ukraine.
The first article further charges that the president did so with corrupt motives and that his use of power for personal gain harmed the national security of the United States.
Republicans blocked 11 Democratic resolutions dealing primarily with the subpoenas for witnesses and documents. With all eyes on the president's impeachment trial, his party is looking into the future.
The Republican National Committee kicks off its winter meeting this afternoon at Trump National Doral in Miami. Florida's GOP National Committeeman Peter Feynman doesn't expect to hear anything about what he calls the impeachment charade.
We are all about planning for the convention and planning to get as many new voters registered.
He says unlike in 2016 when the party was divided,
everybody has one goal and one goal in mind, and that's to re-elect this great president.
President Trump is set to speak at the event tomorrow. Eric Rodriguez, Miami.
Lucky's Market is closing all but one of its Florida stores next month. The only Lucky's that will remain open after February 12th is the West Melbourne location. It was too cold yesterday, so SpaceX is now planning its next rocket launch from Cape Canaveral, Florida, to happen Friday morning. There's an 80% chance of favorable weather. Residents in Miami are being told to watch out for reptiles dropping out of trees. The National Weather Service forecast falling iguanas possible overnight because of cold temperatures. They say that the cold-blooded creatures can become immobile when the temperature falls into the 40s. But not to worry, they're not dead. This is your WOCA Ocala Quick Minute News.
A wind chill advisory in effect for this morning. Morning wind chill values into the mid-20s. Wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Sunshine will mix with some clouds throughout the day with a high 60 to 63. Becoming cloudy tonight, low 51 to 58. For tomorrow, it will be cloudy throughout the day, high 73 to 76. Overcast in the evening, then becoming partly cloudy later at night with a low 56 to 60. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Kevin Snyder.
Enter a world of battling knights, dancing gypsies, and mystifying magicians during the 34th Annual Hogtown Medieval Fair, January 18th and 19th, 26th and 27th, and January 31st through February 2nd. Cheer on royal knights as they joust for their lady's honor. Then wander through the marketplace where hundreds of artisans sell their medieval wares. Information at hogtownfair.com. Come one, come all to the Hogtown Medieval Fair, funded in part by Visit Gainesville, Alachua County.
Veterans Helping Veterans USA. Call 352-433-2320. We help veterans and their families with limited financial assistance, counseling, employment referrals, and a food and clothing bank. You can help in making a huge difference in the veterans' lives we serve by donating food, clothing, household items, or direct financial assistance. All donations are tax deductible. Veterans Helping Veterans USA. 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention, and God bless America.
Career Source, Citrus, Levy, Marion brings together business and community partners, economic development leaders, and educational providers to connect employers with qualified, skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the third Wednesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. to Career Source, Citrus, Levy, Marion, and learn how they can help you.
Is the internet driving business to your business? Hi, I'm Michael Warren with Brick City Interactive. At Brick City, we've been putting the web to work for businesses since 1998. We want to help you too, whether you're a real estate office, law office, medical office, manufacturer, retailer, a church, even a radio station like WOCA. We love to help businesses grow, and we have the knowledge and experience to make it happen. We offer professional, affordable web design, mobile responsive websites, search engine optimization, social media marketing, web video and promotions, online advertising, and more. Whether it's time for a redesign or whether you want to kickstart your existing website, let us help. Mention WOCA and we'll give you a free, no-obligation search engine optimization report for your website. This free report will give you practical steps to increase your search ranking. It's our gift to you from Brick City Interactive. Call us today at 352-351-1131 or visit us online at brickcity.com.
Ah, the joys of flying from a major hub.
Come on, guys, we gotta go.
Wait, honey, but our flight doesn't leave for 5 hours.
I know, but traffic could be bad. Then there's trying to find a parking spot, then the mile walk to check in, and of course security could take a while.
Skip the circus and fly regional. From parking to boarding and everything in between, it's just better.
Gainesville Regional Airport, now boarding with over 343 destinations in one stop. Non-stop service to Dallas, Fort Worth, Atlanta, Charlotte, and Miami. Fly with us. You'll be glad you did. For more information, visit flygainesville.com.
Good morning, WOCA Ocala 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. You're listening to AM Ocala Live on WOCA. I'm your host, Adam Mickulin, on this fine, chilly Wednesday morning, hump day. If you think about it, we're halfway through the work week. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. It is a good day.
Good day to just, yeah, that's it. I don't have to add to that. It's good to just be alive, damn it.
It is. Look at that sunshine. You see that blue sky?
Yeah, that's another thing.
This office comes with a huge window. Remember, we're broadcasting here at the Paddock Mall, Ocala, Florida.
Live,
come by, say hi, live.
Yeah,
come by. What did you call it? The fish bowl. Come by, wave, say hey. It went up a little bit. Sun's coming out. That's good.
Oh yeah. You noticed now this morning it was a little cool in there because it was dark, and Adam put the heater on for himself.
Yeah.
But now the sun's coming in. This room is going to heat up.
Yeah, it's going to get warm. It's going to get warm.
But it's like watching the world come alive. I mean, the birds are flying over. I go way out there and I see, what's that, when the plane comes, it's got that tail on it, like the
contrails. As some people refer them to as chemtrails, which is
see the contrails.
There's a conspiracy theory that doesn't exist.
Yeah, and then there's every once in a while, I see a silver shadow or a glare or reflection from another plane. Under it, it's up and it's down.
Yeah.
This far away, you can't tell how close they are. They can be miles apart,
Yep.
Or 200 feet apart. You never know. But it's like the mornings, and then it looks like a commercial because the birds flew by, about 4 or 5 of them in a row, and, the people are starting to walk by. They're smiling, and they even waved at me. Yeah.
Morning.
You too. There you go. So it's like,
I like that guy's sweater.
Yeah. Sell it to you more.
Yeah.
Basically. I won't sell my Noah Rockwell picture. No, not selling that one. That's signed. You're not getting that one.
Yep. It is 10 after the top of the hour, 10 after 9. And I did like his sweater. Yeah. Always forget that. The coming up here at the after the bottom of the hour, we're going to have in the studio Laura Burns, Communications Manager at CareerSource, Citrus, Levy, and Marion County. Good friends there at CareerSource. And their website, www.careersourceclm.com. We are thrilled to be broadcasting to you guys live. I'm thrilled here. We got ourselves a Wednesday, like I said, to take a look at the weather for anybody who's listening. I heard it just a little bit there at the break. We've got 35 degrees right now in Ocala with getting up to the high 50s for a high today, close to 60. And into tonight, not as cold as it was last night, getting lower into the upper 40s. We were doing a little bit of news bits there in the last hour. Or in the last before the break.
Hi, this is Will.
And one notable that I wanted to
Wendy of
point
Dex
out
Imaging in Gainesville and Ocala.
to a lot of folks
we
was
live
that
and work in this community just like you, and we wanted to personally invite you to call us with any questions or concerns about your copiers or printer.
Was the there we go. Now we got it. Good morning, everybody. You're listening to AM Ocala Live. I'm your host, Adam Mikulin. We were talking a little bit of news bits prior to, and yesterday was Buzz Aldrin's birthday. Buzz Aldrin, a hero of mine. He did so much in life here so far and still is 90 years old, which is incredible. Buzz was born 90 years ago in Montclair, New Jersey, to Eugene and Marion Aldrin. And kind of crazy, his mother's maiden name was Moon. Isn't that incredible? His father, Eugene, was an engineer and aviation pioneer who inspired Buzz to pursue dreams of flying. One of the coolest things, as many of you listeners know, I work my day job here with our friends at Ocala Aviation Flight School. And one of the coolest things as being an instructor, not only just teaching people to fly, but hearing their stories, hearing their romantic stories about what made them choose to do either as a hobby or as a career to want to become a pilot. And that's one of the things that fascinates me here with Buzz Aldrin, considering all the stuff that he did and everything. And when you ask certain students, what motivates them, what gave them some guiding light to have a vision to want to do all that, you start to find a lot in the character of that person as something that could be tenacious, or something that could be when they're goal-driven, you find certain elements of a person you might not know if you're just talking to them on the surface. But whenever you do ask somebody something that they're passionate about, like it would be for aviation and becoming a pilot or flying, you start to go a little deeper, and I like that. With that being said, too, his dad, Buzz Aldrin's dad, is a personal friend of Charles Lindbergh and Orville Wright, had flown coast to coast for Standard Oil, and later served in the Army Air Corps during World War II, the Army Air Corps later becoming the Air Force. His dad did urge him to attend the Naval Academy. However, some friends influenced Buzz. 17 years old, he chose to go to West Point instead, and upon graduation near the top of his class during the Korean War, he entered the U.S. Air Force and trained as an F-86 swept-wing fighter pilot. Buzz Aldrin flew 66 combat missions, shot down 2 MiG-15 aircraft over the Yalu River. Life magazine featured a picture showing the pilot having ejected out of the first Soviet-made MiG that he destroyed. Following the Korean War, Buzz Aldrin was sent to Germany flying F-100s that carried nuclear weapons. And then in 1963, thanks to his fighter pilot record and the topic of his thesis that he had written, Dr. Buzz Aldrin won an appointment to the third group of the Gemini Apollo astronauts. And the Project Gemini served as the fundamental stepping stone between the one-person Mercury and the 3-person Apollo programs, which is absolutely just incredible. It says here he launched on November 11th, 1966 as a pilot of Gemini 12 alongside James Lovell. And during that 4-day mission, Buzz established a record 5.5 hour long tethered spacewalk, which drew upon both his MIT research and his extensive recreational scuba diving experience. That's a real man, folks. He subsequently introduced underwater weightlessness training as a standard astronaut protocol in a special underwater buoyancy facility that was constructed at NASA's Johnson Space Center. And that's always fascinating, too, when you consider that stuff is right here in our own backyard here in Florida, with having Cape Canaveral and the Space Museum that's out there and everything. I haven't been there since I was a kid. I need to get back. That's what I need to do. I need to have the time to go enjoy something like that. Show my son as well. That would be pretty neat. But I was telling Joe before when we were talking on air about how there was a video that showed Buzz Aldrin actually knocking a guy out who was denying the fact that he had walked on the moon with Neil Armstrong, and after the guy was pressing, he ended up not keeping his composure too much and punched the guy in the face, which is incredible. Again, real man stuff. And at the end of the day, that's the kind of people overall you want to look up to in hindsight, is somebody who's achieved goals like this, 90 years old. My grandfather is my dad's dad. He would have been 90 this year. He was born in that same year that Buzz Aldrin was. And just to think about the amount of, how do I put this? Almost as if the overall American ingenuity and hard work and labor that went into certain things like achieving man on the moon to the end-all goal, that my grandfather worked in Akron, Ohio, but he worked for Goodyear, which many of their parts and everything that he worked on in his career went into certain things that were done for the missions into space to put man on the moon. And when you think about things collectively, about what we've done through those years in science and technology and labor and manufacturing that we did as a whole as a country to do that. So I sometimes envy the fact that I wasn't around when man first walked on the moon, but who knows, with the way the future holds, certain things going into the future as far as like whether or not we'll make it to Mars. and stuff like that. For those of you listening out there, I'm the newer host here of AM Ocala Live, taking over for Larry and Robin, and as this week, it being my third day, trying to get some of the listeners to get an understanding of who I am a little bit, and a little bit about my background and everything, and I've been a pilot now myself for about 10 years, and in lieu of aviation, one of the things that got me into aviation is the idea that maybe someday, later on in my life, that space travel would become something normalized in a way, in the idea of like what Burt Rutan and Sir Richard Branson were doing with Virgin Galactic to try to make it something common as to visit space, or at least in orbit or something to that extent. And I thought, man, if I can get into aviation now, by the time I would be looking to be retired or something like that, I would be seasoned veteran enough to be able to take the reins to do something like that. But space for me, as a little background for listeners, space for me is one of my big interests overall, and that's one of the reasons I'm thrilled to be living in Florida, Central Florida, is knowing that where a lot of that stuff takes place with the rockets that launch and everything, and out of Cape Canaveral and stuff that goes on there, and science and everything, and all that, I'm fascinated by. So yeah, just a little bit about me. But with what I have left here towards the bottom of the hour, I was going to leave it open for anybody who wanted to call, comment, talk to me. 622-9622, you can call in. After the bottom of the hour, we're going to have in the studio Laura Burns from the communication manager at Career Source. We'll have Career Source here in the studio, and we'll talk a little bit there at the after the bottom of the hour. But for right now, I'm leaving it open to you guys. Give us a call, 622-9622, and if you want to chat, potpourri, carry on about some of the little tidbits of news that we mentioned, or just stuff that's going on overall, even if it is political, I don't care. We'll talk about anything. We got a caller now here. Yeah, we'll talk about anything. I figured why not, right? Yeah, good morning, you're on the air.
Hey, Adam.
Hi, how's it going?
Well, how are you?
What's that?
I said it's going well.
Good.
I promised you a call on my drive in. I'm listening in for the first time.
Are you on your way to, what was it, the chiropractor?
The chiropractor, that's it.
Nice. This is one of our workers over at Ocala Aviation Services, and this is Alicia, by the way. I didn't use your name on the air.
Yes. Alicia.
Alicia. Did I say? Jeez. That's a blunder. Man, how's traffic out there? You want to give us a traffic report?
Not too bad, yeah. Pretty smooth. Everything's moving.
What road you on?
Just chilly.
Yeah? What road you on?
I'm taking 301 Pine right now.
Nice. Was it cold enough for you this morning?
Oh my gosh. There were icicles at the farm. I got a picture for my mother this morning, feeding the goats. There were icicles dripping from the hose.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, not a fan.
Man. You know, I never asked you, do you like flying in this cold weather?
I don't. I need gloves or hand warmers or something up there.
Flying in this weather is not bad. Pre-flighting isn't great.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's the least fun of it.
Yep. For listeners out there, she is a private pilot working on her instrument rating at Ocala Aviation, and she's working on right now getting her written done, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, got a spitty right after this appointment. Gonna hit the books some more.
Were you over at the flight school today?
Not yet.
Not yet. Woke up, had breakfast?
Not yet. Head over there later this afternoon.
Yeah, now you're gonna get your back cracked.
Yep.
Yep. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to.
Yeah, you might, I'm trying to think if I would get over to the flight school before you, or you might get over there before I do. I'm not sure.
You might beat me over there.
Yeah, I might beat you over there. Yeah.
Either way, I'll see you there.
You got it. Thanks for calling, girl.
Shout out to Ocala Aviation.
Shout out to Ocala Aviation. You got it, girl. Take care.
All right.
That was a friend of ours there at Ocal Aviation. She works there in the little closet that we have to hand out the books for the airplanes and to do a little bit behind the computer there. Thanks for calling. I appreciate that. She said she would. She lived up to her word. That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh, you're listening to 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. You're listening to AM Ocala Live with your host, Adam Mikulin, on this hump day, beautiful day, chilly day, as we take you from what is the first half of the week into the back half of the week as we get closer to the weekend. We were talking earlier about some news locally. One of the ones I picked up was Crystal Burgers pulling out of Ocala, which is a little bit of a bummer. But I realized that I haven't ate there in about, I think it's been over a year. So here it is. I'm disappointed that they're going out. But here I realized that I hadn't eaten there in a year anyway. I do like their burgers. I just know I try to eat a little bit healthier from time to time. And Joe was right when he said that you want a burger that's just a little bit bigger. How's it going? But we had some other news there as well. A couple things I wanted to point out. I found this as I was looking through certain things. I was looking through certain things here on the counter here as I was getting used to the space with the board and everything, and I come across this 100 fun, interesting facts, practically about everything. And I was reading through some of these the other day, and this stuff is incredible. And I'm a little apprehensive to read some of them, which is why I haven't yet. I've had this here for 3 days now, and I was a little apprehensive to read it, just considering like I can't fact check it, and I feel like that's important nowadays for certain reasons. But we were talking about cold weather, and I think I said yesterday that it was windy yesterday. Most people understood that, and it was supposed to be a little bit windier today also. And then a lot of people associate wind with a certain city, the Windy City, Chicago. And one of the facts here, it's like at the top of the list, it says the Windy City has nothing to do with Chicago weather. Was this one of the random facts that just went by the wayside? It says Chicago's nickname was coined by the 19th century journalist who was referring to the fact that it was the residents, that they were windbags and full of hot air. That's interesting. Here we always just considered it to be the Windy City just for predominantly low pressure systems that move through the area with cold fronts this time of year to make it windy, but they're saying it has nothing to do with the wind. That's interesting. I think I told a student the other day more so that within the weather it has a lot to do with it, but here it says that it was a journalist back in the 19th century that did it. Interesting. Another one here is, I thought this was interesting, for the fact of animals. It says here, armadillo shells. Armadillos, I'm sure many of you have probably either seen them or had the opportunity of actually running one over with your car, which is heavy. I've done that a couple times in my lifetime, ran over an armadillo with my car. It says armadillo shells are bulletproof. In fact, one Texas man was hospitalized when a bullet he shot at an armadillo ricocheted off the animal and hit him in the jaw. So I guess it depends on what you use to shoot them as far as being bulletproof. And if like a 50 cal would actually take that sucker out. I'm not sure. It doesn't even say which type gun or whatever he used, but nonetheless, it's a little interesting. When we were talking about burgers today, it says here, a fact, a cow-bison hybrid that is now out. A cow-bison hybrid, a moo cow and a buffalo hybrid, is called a beefalo. You can even buy its meat in at least 21 states. 21 states you can buy beefalo. I don't think Florida's one of them. I don't think so. I actually like bison burger. It's not bad. Regular than like Angus beef, which is also good. I've had buffalo burger. I don't know if I'd had the combination. The combination would probably be just as delicious. Interesting. But these are 100 fun and interesting facts that I've had sitting here for a while. And there's a few that I've marked overall that I wanted to talk about. So far, the few that I have, not as interesting as I thought when I say them out loud. When you read them to yourself, it's a little different. This one is fact: Kleenex tissues were originally intended for gas masks. When there was a cotton shortage during World War I, Kimberly Clark, who developed the thin, flat cotton substitute, the Army tried to use as a filter in the gas masks. The war ended before scientists perfected the material for gas masks, so the company redeveloped it to be smoother and softer, and then marketed Kleenex as a facial tissue. That's pretty interesting. That's good stuff. Another one here, it says, thanks to 3D printing, NASA can basically email tools to astronauts. Getting new equipment to the space station used to take months or years, but the new technology means tools are ready within hours. That'd be one to look up just a little bit more. Interesting. So those are some fun facts and interesting facts about certain everything, which takes us into the bottom of the hour here. And when we come back from break, we'll be talking to Career Source, which will be good. Appreciate you guys listening on this fine Wednesday morning. My name is Adam Mikula, and you're listening to WOCA Ocala.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. House Democrats today start 24 hours of arguments over 3 days for President Trump's removal from office. Senate Republicans vote for now against allowing testimony from witnesses like former National Security Advisor John Bolton. New York Democrat Jerry Nadler says about that,
the president and some members of this body are afraid to hear from Ambassador Bolton because they know he knows too much.
President Trump speaking to reporters in Davos, Switzerland, wrapping up the World Economic Forum.
Gerald Nadler, I've known him a long time. He's a sleazebag. Everybody knows that.
He says he'd like to attend the trial in the front row, but says his attorneys might have a problem with that. Opening statements in the Harvey Weinstein rape and sexual assault trial are today in New York City. The former movie mogul says what happened with those two women was consensual. He's also charged in other cases in Los Angeles. The New York City trial is expected to last about 6 weeks. America's listening to Fox News.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out. No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable. But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms. Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
WOCA Quick Minute News. After finishing the first day early this morning, the Senate impeachment trial will resume this afternoon. Yesterday, Democrats, including Orlando Congresswoman Val Demings, made their case that the Senate should convict and remove President Trump for his dealings with Ukraine.
The first article further charges that the president did so with corrupt motives and that his use of power for personal gain harmed the national security of the United States.
Republicans blocked 11 Democratic resolutions dealing primarily with the subpoenas for witnesses and documents, with all eyes on the